welcome back with Mrs. Hauk to math class. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. Today, for Monday, we're going to look at lesson number 3 in our math book. We're going to do some more dividing. You can see here I have some whole numbers and we're going to get some fractions. We're not going to complete the entire lesson, but I do want you to follow along today so that way Tuesday's lesson will be very simple. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what we have here. It says draw a model to represent 12 divided by 3. Well, I want us to go ahead and learn some of the terminology. So what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to write up here a little bit larger so that you guys can see. I want you to write 12 divided by 3 equals, and most of us already know that that answer is 4. Okay, well, let's learn what the names of these are. This right here is called our dividend, the number 12. So we're going to label it right up here. Okay. This is our dividend. We are dividing by the 3, and that is called our divisor. So if you would label this in your book. And then the answer that we get when we divide is called our quotient. Okay, so make sure you have those terms in your notebook so that way you can know what these mean. We have our dividend divided by our divisor equals our quotient. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make a model, and we are going to draw something that has 12 divided by 3. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a large box like this, and this large box of mine is going to represent 12. I'm going to take that 12 and I'm going to divide it into 3 sections. Well, most of us know if I divide it into 3 sections, that each section is going to have to be equal to 4. 4, 8, 12 will give me the total answer of 12. Now, there is another way that we could actually make a model. We can make our model again. Okay, we can make our model, which equals 12. And if we know we're dividing by 3, we could actually count by 3s. Well, let's see. We have 3, 6, 9, 12. So if you notice, I counted by 3 4 times. Okay, so 2 ways that I can make my model for this. The question underneath says, how could we reword this question? Well, the question says 12 divided by 3. If I wanted to reword this, there are a couple ways I could do it. I could say something like, if we divide 12, which I did, into 3 groups of equal size, what is the size of each group? I could say if we divide 12 into groups of size 3, how many groups do we have? Okay, so there's a couple of things to do. If you would like to go ahead and pause your video and write your question, you can. If you want to pause your video and write the question that I'm going to do, you can do that as well. Okay, so like I said, if you want to pause your video, you can. My question is, if we divide 12 into 3 groups, 1, 2, 3, of equal size, what is the size of each group? Well, I divided into 3 groups and I have the equal size of 4. Okay, so like I said, pause your video so that you can get this question written down in your book. So on Tuesday, I can see that everyone has everything completed. All right, so let's move down to our example number 1. We see the problem 8 divided by 9. 8 ninths divided by 2 ninths. Well, most of us have been doing this. Keep, change, flip. And we're going to continue that keep, change, flip, but we're also going to draw a couple models for today. So if you notice, the most important thing for us when we make a model with a fraction like this is we have to make sure that the denominators are the same. And if you notice, both denominators are the same. They both have a 9. Well, we're going to look at the very first fraction, and the first fraction we see right here is 8 ninths. So we're going to make a model like we did last week. We're going to make 9 boxes, and we're going to color 8 of them. All right, so the first thing we're going to need for you to do is go ahead and make your 9 boxes, and then we're going to need to shade in 8 of them. Okay, so I have made a model of 8 ninths. We are taking 8 ninths and we are dividing it by 2 ninths. So that means I get to circle every 2/9. Well, here's 2/9, 2/9, 2/9, 2/9. So I have a total of 4 groups. So my answer is 4. Okay, we have 4 groups of 2/9. All right, well, let's go ahead and check our problem. We remember keep, change, flip. Keep, change, and we're going to flip. We're going to multiply across the top and multiply across the bottom. Most of us know that 8 times 9 is 72. 9 times 2 is 18. Obviously, we have something that is top-heavy, so we remember from last week when we have a top-heavy fraction, then we actually need to divide. So we'll take 72 divided by 18. Mrs. Houck's going to go ahead and tell you that 18 will not go into 7, but it will go into 72 4 times equally. So I have the same answer of 4. Okay, now we're going to actually continue doing some more problems like this, and I'm going to actually, those of you that are paying attention last week, there's going to be a little cheat method I'm going to show you so that we don't have to get so high and use numbers like 72. All right, go ahead and turn over to the next page, please. All right, so here we go. This time it says we're going to make our model again. We have 9/12 and 3/12. If you notice, our denominator is the same. It's 12. So I'd like for you to go ahead and make 12 boxes for me, please. Pause your video so you can get that done. All right, so I have drawn my 12 boxes. My first fraction right here, you notice, is 9/12. So we need to shade 9 of them, okay? All right, so I've shaded my 9. 9/12 divided by 3. So we're going to circle groups of 3. So I have here 1, 2, 3. Circle 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And my answer is 9/12 divided by 3/12 should be the answer 3. Well, let's check it. Let's do our keep, change, flip. Remember, we keep 9/12. We change the division to a multiplication. And then we flip 3/12 to 12/3. All right, so now we could do 9 times 12 and get our answer in 12 times 3, but I told you if you've been paying attention, I'm going to teach you a little cheat method. And the cheat method is this. You need to look at your numbers that are in the denominator, and you need to look at your numbers that are in the numerator. And you can actually reduce. If you have a number that's in the denominator that matches with the number in the numerator, we can actually cancel those out to 1. So if you notice, we have here 12 and a 12. Because we have a 12 down here in the denominator and a 12 in the numerator, we can cancel this 12. 12 goes into 12 once, and 12 goes over to here into 12 once. Now we've kind of reduced the problem to make it a little simpler to where we can say 9 times 1 is 9, and 1 times 3 is 3. I still have a top-heavy fraction, but it's not as large of a number as I would have, if it would have been if I would have left 12. 9 divided by 3. Most of us know that problem in our head. 9 divided by 3 is 9. And if you notice, I have the same answer that I received in my model. Okay? All right, so let's move down to the next problem. Next problem says we have 7/9 divided by 3/9. Once again, our denominators are the same, so I'd like for you to go ahead and make our 7/9 right here as our model. So go ahead and pause your video and make your 7/9. All right, so I have my 9, and I need to shade in 7. Okay, so now I have 7/9, and I have to divide it into groups of 3/9. So we're going to circle every 3/9. 1, 2, 3/9. 3 out of the 9. 3 out of the 9. Oh, and then I've got here 3 out of the 9, but this one's colored, so I'm going to have to go ahead and circle that. Now the problem is I only have 2 full groups. 2 full groups that I circled, so that would be a whole number 2. But if I look at this last group I circled, it's not an entire part that's shaded. It's only one of the three. So my answer is going to actually be 2 full groups with 1/3. So according to my model, 7/9 divided by 3/9 is 2 1/3. Well, let's check to see if my model is correct. Let's go ahead and do what we've been practicing, and that's called keep, change, flip. We're going to keep our 7/9. We're going to change our division to multiplication. We're going to flip the 3/9 to 9/3. I flipped it. Okay, we just learned on the previous problem that if I have a number that is exactly the same in the denominator as it is in the numerator, which I can see here, I have a 9 on the denominator and the numerator, so I can actually say 9 goes into 9 once, and 9 goes into 9 once. I can cancel those out. 7 times 1 is 7, and 1 times 3 is 3. All right, I still have an improper fraction. It's top heavy, and we learned we have to divide 7. This is divided by 3, so we're going to write 7 divided by 3. 3 goes into 7 how many times? It goes into 7 2 times, which is 6. I'm going to subtract with a 1, and my answer should be 2 1/3. And if you notice, my 2 1/3 is the same as my model. All right, so go ahead and make sure that you have all of these things written in your notes, so that way when you guys attend class on Tuesday, you will be ready to move on to the next lesson. I hope you guys all have a great Monday afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday.